I think it did it. Did it do it? It did it.
You did it.
It did the thing.
I had
Except
to
that-
refresh for some reason to make it appear. But
Oh,
it's
really?
there. Mhm.
Strange. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knights of Silver Moon, where we know exactly what we're doing at all times. Ugh. There you go. Pressing the correct buttons in the correct order that they need to be pressed. It is May. Oh my God. Already second week of May. How is this possible? I mean, I know how it's possible because time, but sometimes.
Still the first week of May.
No!
It's on the last day of it.
Depends on how you want to define a week.
Last week was the first week. This is the second week. We're not like a week into May. Yes, like 7 days into it, but you know, time and shit. Anyway, here we are, ready to rumble. I think. Is everybody ready to rumble?
I'm ready to watch rumbling.
Oh yeah.
Go sports.
Go sports.
Sports ball.
Go sports ball. Yeah. Semantics. Exactly. Semantics. All right. We are ready to roll. Let's see. Announcements wise, next week we are not going to be having a Tuesday night game, but we will be having a Friday night game. So make sure you tune in next week, Friday, the 17th, at 7 p.m. I was like, what day are we? I think it's 7 p.m. It might be 6. I think it's 7 though. I forget that most of our people are like most of the players are on that side of the universe. So
You
they
told
are an
me
hour.
7 for Discord, so
Yeah, well, we
it
can
says
change it.
7
7
Central. We'll figure it
Central
out.
currently.
Yeah, 7 Central currently. If it needs to be changed, we'll change it. Not a big deal. Just stay tuned one way or the other. We will be playing next Friday, the 17th. Not this Friday, next Friday. Other than that, I don't have much in the way of announcements. I have replaced a poster on my wall.
I knew something was different.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I was curious as to why there were two sides of the poster, and one side was like mirrored, and then I was like, oh, that way when you put it in your camera and it's normally a mirrored camera, it'll come out reading the correct way. Because if you read anything else, it's gonna be wonky. But I think for you guys, I think you see the regular.
It's like reverse for us, yeah.
It's
I'm
reverse
sure
for
it
you?
looks
Okay.
correct.
But
And
On stream, it looks great.
you guys are like, exactly, it's backwards. Yeah. All right, well, happened to get that over in Cali last couple days ago. That was a fun and wild time. I'm definitely a Samantha. Oh no. I'm not going to pretend that I even understand that. Right? I know who Samantha is, but
I know just
Yeah,
enough
she's one
to
of the American
know
Girl dolls.
She wasn't invited back to the show. That's it. That's where I'm gonna leave it.
oof. I also know that what's his face in Frozen was looking for her, but that's my version of Samantha. Samantha? I don't know Samantha. No, not
Olaf.
Rudolph. Olaf. I was like, not Rudolph. The other off. Olaf. Yeah, it's
My name's Alf.
yeah. No, the
I
snowman.
know. Hold on.
Okay. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else much in the way of announcements. But super excited for our Star Wars game next week. Should be a blast. No pun intended. Hope you're
Blast.
ready.
This is why I hate streaming.
I hope you're ready, Gruff. It's gonna be a doozy. I had to reread all of the Star Wars 5e stuff.
I
This
wouldn't
week.
rewatch the episode just so I could
Remember everything.
reinitiate. Yeah,
Yep, I had to go look at the rules, but it's pretty
Right.
simple. It'll be great. It'll be grand.
set your phasers for fun. It's gonna be a frackin' good time.
Oh my gosh.
Psychic damage.
No, that was well played. Well played. It's okay. It's all the universe. I appreciate all
This is a
universes.
hostile work environment.
Oh.
Well.
All right. Keep it up, fuzzball. What was I gonna say? Oh, I haven't confirmed, but someone said that Battlestar Galactica is now on Amazon, and I need to go look to see if that's true. Because if it is, I'm finishing that show. I never got to finish it, and now I'm super excited.
That's okay. Neither did Ronald D. Moore.
It came from Katie Sackhoff, so if Starbucks said it, it's got to be true.
Would that be? Would those have been dad jokes or Vader jokes?
I love that you like shrink back to the pit that you crawled out of whenever you say those things.
Considering Vader means father,
Yeah, I know. I know.
I was wondering if he knew.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Okay.
Vader.
I'm just checking.
Sorry, get me out of this hell. Okay, here we go. Let's start this thing.
I thought they smelled better.
On the
They smell bad
outside.
on the outside.
Quick. Okay, so we had one person from Hoth Temple, and he brought with him a tauntaun this big, and all the girls were complaining because it was cold. It was cold. It was like in the low 50s. It wasn't like cold, but it was colder than most were expecting. And someone turned to him and was like, "Hey, can we borrow that tauntaun real quick?" Everyone started laughing because we knew exactly where that was going. Anyway, all right, that joke's gone. All right, gotta go now. Let's go. Woohoo! It would help if I press the correct corresponding
Wrong
button.
lever, Gronk.
Yeah, exactly.
Why
Like,
do we even have that?
I will every time will always think of Shelby forever. The one time I forgot to switch over, she's like, Hello? It's dark in here." And I was like, "Oh, oops."
Hello, Mrs. Pommelhorse. I'd like to get down now.
Where are we? Okay. Ooh, as I do
On
this.
the boat in the
That's
Aegean.
Oh, I mean, I know that. I meant, where am I currently on the 75 screens that I have up right now all the time?
The Aegean Sea.
Wherever you want to be.
I will kill you all. And it'll be glorious.
Could happen soon. Anytime.
There we are.
We live in Greek mythology times. At any point, Zeus could throw a lightning bolt down and we all would die.
I prefer the god
And it would
of-
make sense.
I prefer the god Acme, god of falling anvils, pianos, and safes. That's my preferred method of instant death.
What is this very large, strange instrument that has fallen from the sky onto my friend?
Is it from the...
I think we should sail into that tunnel. It looks totally legitimate.
We both move too fast. Let's get into this giant slingshot and it will get us to land.
The sound the hymn of death makes is just meep meep.
Beautiful.
She ran off the cliff and continued to run, and then she looked down and realized she was no longer standing. Then
Yeah,
she fell.
that's what Laertes did, so that
Oh,
he made
he
everyone
did do
run in
that.
place. So
Yeah.
it's-
All right. Here we go. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit more. Sailing is so loud. I, Xanthus of cloud-shadowed stars, swear myself in the service of your will, Lord of war, God of might, leader of warriors, mighty Ares. My life, my blood, I dedicate to you. There is no task I do not answer when you ask it. There is no order I will not obey. It was only yesterday that you appeared to me in Davos. It was only 2 days before that that we were prepared to offer ourselves to the hymn of death. We have seen the past, Lord General. We have seen the way of the enemy. And though we did not know it, we have trained for this day. Davos has sworn us in protection to the soon-to-be Pythia, Themisto, that we might give back in full all that she gave us by sparing us from the death that awaited. But now, I see clearly that this will not simply be a matter of protecting a woman from the world around us, but also from the worlds beyond. And even from herself and her companions if you demand it of us. I, Davos of Clan Shadowed Stars, have sworn myself in service to the Pythia to be Themisto, a true blessing walking among us. Lord Ares spoke to us, the God General himself, and he gave us a charge unlike any orders we had been given before. And yet, they may be the most difficult things I have ever been asked to do. I know my clan brother Xanthus fell immediately into line when the Lord General spoke. But I have seen the miracles these traveling companions can work. I have heard their prayers muttered in low tones. I have heard them speak in their sleep. How am I supposed to carry out what my Lord General has spoken? I witnessed them do amazingly beautiful works. I have witnessed the corruption and destruction brought by the enemy, and I've seen it bring low mighty warriors among the gods, those whose names are now forever lost and will never be found. Please, high and mighty Zeus, do not allow harm to befall these companions. Bring answers to the man Laertes. Bring success to the Captain Astrid. Bring happiness to the woman Phoebe. Bring triumph to the Lady Gorgani herself, Themisto. But most of all, bring love to the boy named Cyprus, that he might reunite with him that makes his heart beat longingly. For it makes my own longing impossible to bear when both our hearts yearn for what cannot be ours. I pray for them. I pray that my death may be in service of them, as long as these wishes of mine come true. Davos opens his eyes, clutches his shield and spear, and faces off against Phoebe and Cyprus. As I need you guys to roll initiative.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
My boys are multi-dimensional.
Yes.
Well, they might be two-dimensional, depending how much of a grease stain is left.
Oh no. Sorry, my D20 just like ran off the desk.
I rolled bad.
Oh no.
Let's see here.
A strong boy that keeps a diary. Green flags. Green flags.
Oh, no. No. Start video, you silly tease. Okay. Oh, you know what? There you go. I thought it looked a little off. Yoink.
I got a 15.
Okay, let me now go back to the encounter. Run encounter. Phoebe got a 15. Cypress.
7. I always roll poorly at the initiative, but that's a better dice roll to get bad.
Why don't the rest of you guys, as I'm assuming that you are on deck watching this, go ahead and roll initiative also. That way, in case you are wanting to do anything, we know where that shall fall. Okay. Let me grab some soldies. So for put for crew 4. There we go.
Aaron, do you smell burning toast?
All the time. Okay. We'll do this a little higher. And we are set, I think. Stay. Oops, that's not gonna stay. Let's do it like this. That way I can actually reach around it. Astrid, what did you roll?
A 19.
19.
Yeah. Yeah.
Themista, what was yours?
The Mister got a 16, but she's not gonna interfere.
Yeah, I know, but just, just in case.
I mean, the battle map is out.
Okay. Make sure that I have it all.
Not that I'm planning to interfere, but did you get mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're actually the top of the round.
I observe.
Okay.
Ready in action to ready in action.
Both Phoebe here and Cypress. And then we have one with the green belt. This belt is going to be Davos. And then the one with just the regular belt, red, is Xanthus. Both of them stand across from you. Also, this is the mast in the center. We'll just say that that's a mast. Just for ease of sake. Actually, you know what? Let's scoot it to the side so that you don't have a mast right in the middle of what you're doing. There you go. Much better. Okay. As you both ready up, how are you guys readying up before this? Now we have initiative done. What are you guys? You two.
So is this like a bonus?
This was, I just wanted to get initiative down. Was there anything before? Because we basically are starting at the beginning of combat, but since I didn't give you guys the opportunity to like start anything, was there anything you wanted to do before we get started?
Probably establish what is expected of this fight, as Cypress did with the Mista.
Okay. Which is?
I guess this is blood sport.
This is,
I guess it is
this
by
your
definition
thing.
anyway.
What are you doing? What are the rules that you invoke?
Well, if this is a test of one another's capabilities, do feel free to display what you are capable of. Obviously, if someone is downed, don't kill them. But unless someone else would wish for something else, we fight until both sides are down. And not until both sides are down, but both
Yeah.
people of one
Yeah,
side
yeah,
are
yeah.
down.
Okay.
Non-lethal strikes.
Of course, we're not looking to kill anybody here. So if we're playing this out in real initiative, Aaron, for the
Yes.
can we do it with the understanding that we're not trying to kill anyone. If someone goes down, it's a non-lethal.
Correct.
Okay. Sure. Cypress with the chair. Okay. All right, Phoebe, you are the start of this. What are you doing?
Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure something's not a bonus action. Okay, I want to go up to Xanthus. And I'm going to start it off by trying to hit him twice.
Okay.
The first hit.
You, as you are approaching, as you move up, he with shield in one arm, spear in the other, stabs out once you get within 5 feet of him. So right as you move in, he does a quick jab towards your shoulder.
Okay.
That is only going to be a 12.
Okay, so as he does that, I'm going to drop low and hit up towards his side as he darts out. And the shield is not quite covering here. That's where I'm going to go to hit as he misses
Okay.
as I drop below the
Beautiful.
sword. Because the
Beautiful.
first hit is a 26.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage. I can't do that other thing yet because I haven't done it. And the second hit is only going to be a 13.
It misses.
Okay,
What was the first one again?
26.
All right, cool. That's what I thought. I heard. I was I was like, wait.
Okay, for that first one, since I did hit on a melee attack, I would like him to make a con save.
Con save.
Spinning strike.
That is a 22.
Well, yep. I figure these are very constitutional boys, but while Phoebe is down, she's gonna kind of like clutch her bracelet, and then her celestial wings are gonna shoot out.
Okie dokie. Do I have? Okay, it's this one. I think is the one I use because it's got kind of a staff. All right, cool. Alrighty. Anything else?
I want to move up, still in melee range. I don't know if that works. Just I guess like 5 feet up.
So
I know
towards
playing in
the
like a more
back.
three-dimensional space gets a little like in the air.
Oh, so you're gonna fly upwards.
Yes,
Gotcha.
but not leaving melee range because I don't want an opportunity attack.
Okay. There we go.
That
Oh,
is my
wait.
turn.
I have this. Even if it's a little smaller, at least. There we go. Okay. So you moved up 5 into the air. Your wings blast outwards in that bright ray of sunlight, in the rays of sunlight. As you move in. Okay.
Have the boys seen these wings yet? Because I didn't have them anymore by the time we entered the temple.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It is now It's now Davos's turn. Pretty easy. He is going to make. He is going to see what you are doing. I am going to have him leap in the air. He's going to. Xanthus brings his shield down. There's almost like grunts that go past between them, and without spoken word, he goes down. Xanthus goes down to one knee, brings his shield up over his head, and Davos steps onto his shoulder, onto his shield, and goes up. And as he spins around, he's going to make 3 spear attacks on you, and he leaps into the air. The first one with the butt of the spear is a 25 to hit. So for a natural 20 on that one. The 15 for the second.
No.
And then a 15 on the third.
Nope.
So just the one. Then that is going to be a total of 8 points of piercing damage. As he
is that already doubled?
We'll say bludgeoning just because we're whacking instead of yes, that is the total damage. As he brings the blade up and around, he hits you with the blunt end of the staff over the side of the temple, and then it kind of sends you in a quick like somersault back, and the quick like almost cyclone-like move that he does, your body kind of goes whoosh, whoosh as it passes around you. As you kind of like tumble backwards, almost like you're on a wire kind of thing. Like they do in the movies, just kind of tumble backwards. And then he winds up landing. We're going to say he is, for all intents and purposes, he lands on the edges of the ship. He just kind of goes up and then lands on the railing as he lands back down. The next one up is going to be Cypress.
Cypress will first channel his inner Orphic powers. Enter Fabio mode.
Yeah.
So there's a flash of golden light. His hair blows back and now seems to have a slight breeze. And all of the muscles get defined throughout his form. And he will... First he will... Wait, is that concentration? It is. Okay, never mind. He will go in for the attack.
Are you concentrated right now?
No.
Okay.
Not what I just did was concentration.
Okay.
What I was thinking of might have been.
Gotcha.
But I've nixed that. So, which one just attacked Phoebe?
Davos.
I will go after Xanthus.
Okay. Moving in. Other side of that.
No shield bashes this time because I've used my bonus action.
Okay.
But with the sword wrapped up in its sheath, so it too is a blunt weapon. First attack with the long sword. Oh, that is I forgot to roll the regular dice, but that's 20.
Okay, it hits.
Nice. So that is a D8. That is 13 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Smacks it across him.
Mm-hmm.
Next attack. Ooh, 23.
23 does hit.
13 again.
13 again. All right, cool.
Just a good solid back and a wheel and another back of the sword. Hitting with the blunted edge in its sheath, which is not good for the sheath. He will need to fix it here.
Both of those, even though, for all intents and purposes, even though you did hit or strike with these, one of them is like partially blocked with a shield, but the force of it is shunts the shield over sideways, and you like reaches in and smacks him on the shoulder. And as you come to the other side, he tries to counter with the shield, moving it back over, but you bring your sword around and inward and smack him on the inner side of the opposite side instead. Was a nice with a nice resounding crack of a thud.
Cool.
All right, that ends your turn.
Yes. But I will interpose. Try and like just get up in the space so that they both can't theoretically, without doing a bunch of footwork, both get at Phoebe.
Phoebe,
I don't know if that's possible with
I'm
this
in
current
that.
setup.
It is not possible.
Okay, then I'll just stay where I am.
Okay. All right. That first move on the swinging in, he brings in his shield for a total of a 17 to attack. As he tries
Me?
to bash you with a shield. Yeah.
That is a miss.
All right. And then the
Theban
next,
shield, Spartan boy.
yeah, the shield clash to shield. He then used the spear twice. One is a 18, and
Meets.
and the other one is a 22.
Also beats.
This is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning and 8 points of bludgeoning.
Ooh.
Quack quack. You having moved this, he bashes you with a shield, which normally would have. You recognize this move as something similar to the way you have done your own shield bashes, but it moves your shield just enough to where he's able to bounce the spear over the top, hits it down and under, and the bottom shaft of the spear cracks you in the shin, and then the top one he brings it up down and it smacks you on the shoulder, so it almost kind of like what's it called, it doesn't teeter, it like there's another word that I'm not using for this, but it's just whack whack basically. There's
Fulcrum.
yeah,
seesaw thing, I
basically,
don't know.
yeah, basically. You understand what I'm going for.
Yeah.
But I cannot think of the right word. It's not rotate either. Oh well, it's fine. Anyway, you get it. That's done. He is going to step sideways here to this side, and allows Davos to like space to get off of the railing.
Was I in melee with him and did he step out of it?
If
Because
you were-
I had struck out at him first and then had gone straight up above him to not leave his space, but if he just moved out of my space.
He's gone on to Facebook.
Yeah. Tom is real sad about it.
Go for it.
Okay. Because let's complicate things with a flying monk. A dirty 20.
That
Gross.
hits.
And that is going to only be 6 points of bludgeoning damage as I kick him in the back of the head.
Okay. Then it brings it up to your turn.
Okay. I'm just smiling. I'm having fun. I'm going to look at Davos. And I'm going to hit him in the head. Tried to hit him in the head once with my quarterstaff. And then so I'll like drop down right in front of him for this first hit and bring down the quarterstaff. That is a 26 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage. And as the wings envelope him,
How many points of damage again?
10 points of bludgeoning damage, and then the wings will envelope him for 3 radiant damage.
Nice.
Okay.
I would like him to make a Constitution saving throw, because let's just see. I've got some key points.
16.
Just over it. We're not going to try that again, but I would like to spend another key point for Flurry of Blows and hit him 2 more times, hopefully.
Okay.
That is only a
Whoops.
12, so I'm assuming that misses.
Hold on. Please hold.
We lost
He
Leia.
said he was having some technical issues.
Oh no, we lost map care.
I'm fixing it.
You're doing great, sweetie.
And Laertes.
We love you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I got lost with the
No,
last
it's
thing
okay.
you
that
said.
was a 12, which
12
I'm assuming misses.
Yes.
And then that is only a 14.
Also
so
misses.
those two were not great. And then I will stay on the ground beside him.
Okay. Dope. All right. That makes it
Hold
Davos.
on.
What?
How many
Yes.
hits did I do? Did I do 3 or
3.
4?
3,
Okay, then I've got to do one more.
I think.
It's,
Monk.
yeah. Okay,
Monk
that's
punch.
another missed one. So
Okay. Now it is Davos's turn.
Stand strong.
He is going to, like his brother, use his shield on you first. First strike is a 17.
misses.
Ooh.
Second 2 strikes with the spear is going to be a 23
Hits.
and a 19.
Hits.
This is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning and 6 points of bludgeoning. I will say that because you guys had also are you using like blunted instruments, are going to have their spear wrapped, so it kind of actually acts more like a quarterstaff with a metallic one side is wood, one side is metal. So the metal side kind of hurts the more, we'll say, of those 2 strikes, as he whacks you twice really good. He's
Phoebe's getting pretty bruised.
there is the bash of the shield, which you duck, and then as you duck it, you are about to come back up under that swing when the spear pops you with the wrapped metal end right again in the right by the clavicle, so it kind of like it stings and burns, and then as he does that, he brings the shield back over your head, which causes you to duck again, and as you're popping back up, the back of the spear shaft like whacks you in the top of the head as he does another quick spin, brings himself down to one knee with shield basically covering most of his body, and spear like now with a reverse grip above his head. Cypress, it is now your turn.
Cypress, seeing that they are adopting the shield method, is going to adopt a different one and will channel some more Orphic power and send it forth into his blade. Normally, he has been doing this in an explosive effect. Like upon contact, there's a ignition of emotion and it bursts forth in radiant power. But instead, he's going to try and control it and channel it into the weapon to stay there. And he's going to cast Magic Weapon.
Okay. Awesome.
So his sheath glows blue. Very light teal. And then he will go in for one of the attacks on Xantus.
Alrighty.
That is a 21.
Hits.
Actually, it's a 22 because of Magic Weapon.
All right.
And I will Divine Smite.
Okay.
So we'll also explode in gold energy.
Alrighty.
That's a 2d6 plus my d7. Pretty nice. So the blunt damage is 14
Okay.
blunt and then 10 radiant.
Okay.
He's still up.
Yep.
And then I will attack him again.
Okay. As you bring this sword in and wallop him, and it bursts out with golden light, spraying in this like slow motion splash explosion that kind of freezes in place for a second. He stumbles back a couple of steps, shakes it off. And then, like as he's shaking it off, you use that momentary distraction to move in again for your next attack.
Yes. Ah, dang. That is a 10.
10 misses. You swing in again, and instead it strikes the middle of the mass as he is kind of ducked under it and is moving in now to counterattack.
Hey, be careful with the ship.
There is a moment where he is going to, as he like ducks down, he throws the shield down into the deck of the ship, and it like lodges itself between two of the beams. There's a poof, and as he spins around, he is now going to cartwheel the staff in three quick successions, going like that. That is going to be, the first strike is a 17.
That is a miss.
The second strike is a 23.
That's a hit.
And the third strike is a 19.
That is a hit.
And now that he's using both hands, this first one
Oh
is
no, he choked up.
9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh.
And second one is 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh, Cypress is beat up.
So that first dodge goes, you dodge the first one, and then he brings the shaft down like across the top of your temple, pop, and then as he brings that side down, he pops you on the other side. So it's like pop, pop over the top of the head. Brings you up to Phoebe's turn.
You know, you're pretty good with that. And then I'm going to...
Oh, concentration on my magic weapon.
Okay.
It was a 9 and a less than 10, so that's 10 concentration.
I would like to
That's a
drop
success.
low and with two
And a success.
hands
I keep it.
bring
Yeah.
my quarterstaff against his legs.
Okay.
For the first one, which is a dirty 20.
All right. That hits.
And that will be two-handed. So that's going to be 9 points. Nope. 6 points of bludgeoning damage, and then 3 more radiant damage as it almost looks like it's igniting the staff as the wings like follow it.
You said 6 bludgeoning?
Yeah, 6 bludgeoning and 3 radiant.
3 radiant. All right, let's get Graham back in here.
Oh boy.
Move around over here. And then go to the correct cam. Boop.
Welcome
Alright.
back, Laertes. For my next one, as I follow that through and I'm gonna let it tuck under, I'm going to take this, as I stand back up and go for his chin. So that will be 23,
23 hits.
which will be 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And then for my bonus action, I want to kind of rock back on my wings and kick him.
Okay.
So that is going to be 21.
21. That hits.
And 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And then I would like to fly... actually, make a Constitution saving throw again, because one of these days you're going to roll low.
Stunning strike. Stunning strike.
21.
It's so worth it when it goes off.
Yeah. I mean, it's a friendly fight, and I can spend all my key points. I'm going to fly out of his range, knowing that I'm going to take an opportunity attack.
Okay. He actually doesn't
How are they looking?
Hard to. Well, make an insight check.
Okay.
I will also make an insight check.
Well,
25.
25. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken. You can see the blood kind of coming down a little bit on the nose, and then a big wallop on the side of the head from the other one, but they don't show signs of breaking beyond that. Like, there is physical evidence, but they do not look tired. They do not. It's very much the equivalent of Captain America's "I could do this all day" kind of situation. Broken, bloodied, and bruised as they might look, they also show no sign of like faltering or stumbling. Like, they are on point and task. All right, that ends your turn. Are you moving just 5 feet up, or are you going higher?
No, because I was going to go out of his range, so...
Okay, so 10.
10, 15.
That's up to you, 10 or 15.
Let's do 15.
Okay. All right. Stay.
You can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
Okay.
I don't know who my dad is.
That was wobbly as hell, but that's fine. All right. It is now Davos's turn. Seeing you fly up, there is this quick moment of his eyes follow you, and he turns his immediate attention to Cypress.
Huh?
Throw it, you coward!
He is going to do a shield bash for a total of 24.
That's a hit.
That is 5 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw.
I believe I have advantage being peerless. All right, that is a strength saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Or athletics? Strength?
Strength saving throw.
Okay, that is a 14. No, 18.
18? Ooh.
Yes.
All right, you succeed. So you are not knocked prone, but there is this like resounding crashing sound of the metal as it just like bonks you on top of the head, or bonks you backwards. You block it with your sword enough to where it doesn't actually strike, but it would have done some damage. And in that daze of a moment, he goes in with the spear twice.
Oh boy.
That is 19 and
That's a
a
Before you
another
attack
19.
a third time, let's see if this knocks me out.
well, okay. That is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
I am down.
There is the as you bash backwards, your feet catch on the ground a little bit, and you start to teeter back. There is a moment where he uses his spear to kind of like dive downwards between your legs to where it kind of allows you to trip. And as you're falling back, he reaches out, and because that's third attack also would have hit, he's going to grab the front of your chest and keep you from falling on your back. But you're just like now hanging as he's grabbed your breastplate, and you're just holding you like this and you're not, I wouldn't say you're unconscious, but you're just like, it would have like, that landing would have probably like hurt really bad, and he just like tripped you more so you would fall, but then caught you by the breastplate so that you wouldn't, and you're just finding yourself jerked back.
Appreciate.
He has dropped the shield and just has the spear in one hand as he's grabbed you with the other, and then he like flourishes it back like he's gonna strike again, and then looks over at his brother. You are knocked out. Oh yeah, you are. All right, so you're done. It is now going to be he's gonna go ahead and let you go, and then it is Xanth. It's not the full fall now. Now it's just like a little. He's basically lowering you from the foot, just like poof onto the ground. The next move is Xanthus. He's going to look over and around to see where Phoebe is. Okay, I'm gonna make him do a dexterity check for this. See if he can reach. Okay, I'm gonna let you call. I'm gonna give. Who's gonna make the call for this? Actually, I'm gonna say Sonder.
Not the referee still?
You are the referee still, yes. You are going to set a DC in your head. Okay.
What's the situation?
The situation is Xanthus is going to jump onto his brother's shoulders, leap from there onto the mast, and then leap over toward. So basically, go boing, assisted jump from Davos to mast, bounce off towards Phoebe. What would you say? You have a DC in your head?
I do.
Okay. I rolled a 22 on athletics.
That's enough. Yeah.
What was your DC?
It's 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm only gonna use one attack on Phoebe, just because those moves. I'm gonna use both his other attack actions for this. So he's just gonna try and strike you. His shield's already on the ground, so he's using two hands with his spear. Let's see if he can hit. Oh, 11.
I will just sweep back out of the way.
You see, it is quite the amazing feat. He, having jumped his brother onto his brother's shoulders, his brother, who had been down in a crouch, stands really fast and launches his brother launches his Xanthus over to the mast. From the mast, he catches himself for a second before bouncing back towards you. You see him with all his might swing like a bat this spear, just goes whack across and catches nothing but air as he continues to flail out and over the side of the ship.
Are any of the crew watching? I imagine
yes.
just like this, oh.
Yes,
Wait, over the edge of the ship?
yes, he is currently falling past the side of the ship.
Okay.
Laertes does get the top of the round.
Laertes is top of the round. Unless you have a reaction, something you can do as a reaction.
I do.
Okay, go for it.
Not for him.
Sorry, which one of them is going off the edge? Sorry?
Xanthus.
Okay. And it looks like he's tumbling, not like this doesn't look like it's working as intended, right?
It's definitely not working as intended, but it's not like he's faltering. It's now like he's like spun out in the air, swung the spear outwards, and is now kind of just like Link cartwheeling into the like.
Just the goofy.
It's just going, but he's heading past the ship now.
Okay. I admire his commitment that he went right for it, but as a result of taking him over the edge. So I'm just going to reach out, and his descent slows enough that he should be able to catch the side of the ship as I cast Featherfall.
Nice.
I would still say that counts as a ring out to himself, but that doesn't mean that I want him to drown in the wake of the ship.
Yeah. He falls over starts to falling off to the side, and you see him like suddenly slow as he like begins to like slowly spin downwards, and you can see him start looking around like what's happening, and
I'll just sort of slowly wave at him.
He'll catch the side and stick a spear into the side of the ship a little bit, just so that he can like purchase and pull himself off or up.
That counts as an out, by the way.
All right, Phoebe, it is now you
And
and Davos.
All right. Well, I picked the monk with a range, so I am going to kind of sweep the wings around me and then pull back like an arrow as they kind of unfurl again and use Radiant Sunbolt for my next attacks. That is only that's a 17.
Misses.
Okay. Second one is 24.
Hits.
You sunk my battleship. No.
That's 8 plus the extra 3, 11 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
I
Blast
would like
downwards.
to
You see,
divine smite her attack that hit.
yeah. You see where it strikes the shield. It kind of has warmed it a little bit. There's a little bit of a lighter, darker patch on the metal side of the shield.
And then my bonus action. Actually, let's hold on, how many? I got one more key point, so let's Flurry of Blows this bonus action. Okay. 23.
Woo.
23
which
hits.
is going to be 6 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
And finally, only a 14, so that last one misses.
Alrighty. All right. It is now Davos's turn, and you're still 15 feet up.
Yep.
He's gonna look around and see one of the ropes on the thing, and is gonna like fling it upwards to try and lasso you. We'll see if this actually hits. No, that's 13.
I'm not a cow.
The
Actually,
Okay.
this is ancient Greece. I'm not a goat.
No one understood what you said to me.
he takes so as like I said, he takes one of the ropes that's kind of tied around the mast. It already has a little bit of a loop. Tries to latch onto your foot. Sees it miss. Brings it back around, and then picks his shield up, smacks the spear, and like just smack. Does a really loud ringing sound, and is just going to
Oh,
crouch down. Yeah, just gonna wait. Xanthus pulls himself over the side, but then does like stand further to the back, as he's not gonna move. So that's back to you, Phoebe. What are you gonna do?
I will Radiant Sunbolt again. I'm assuming this first one's at disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the first one would have been a 14. The second attack is a natural 1.
Nice.
And then the third one also doesn't hit.
3 bolts. Boom, boom. He dances deftly, one side, one foot, one side, the other foot, and then spins back around and smacks the last with the shield off to the side as it goes careening off in another direction. Very deflect like Link, the ball of light. He's gonna use that momentum. He's gonna toss the shield at you.
So this is a thrown weapon.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Like it. Like it a lot.
It's gonna be a 24.
Yeah, that hits. But, tell me that damage.
This is gonna be an 11.
Okay, I completely reduce the damage, which means I can snatch it out of the air and fling it back.
Okay. Is this a?
It's a
Is this-
reaction.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. And this is like an improvised monk weapon, so we would treat it as what, like my quarterstaff?
Shield.
Yeah. Like throwing it back as like a weapon.
I don't think it gets any bonuses. I don't
Like,
think.
but
What would the damage be?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oof. I don't know.
Okay, so that's a dirty 20 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
So my quarterstaff single-handed is just like a 1d6 plus 5. Does that feel fair?
What is the normal? What is it? The damage normally whenever you throw a weapon back, or you other
I think
monks?
it's whatever the missile was.
Yeah.
So then it's a +3.
Okay, plus 3. 1d6 plus 3.
Hmm.
Okay. That is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Right into the chest.
Beautiful. He takes it and then throws his spear. Because he has 3 attacks, so he used the first attack to throw
that's right,
one.
and now I don't have a
Use your
reaction.
reaction so that he could throw the spear on the second round. He's no dummy. That is gonna be 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Come
Um,
on, Phoebe.
that's gonna be 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm still up.
Got this.
Still up, goodness.
We'll say the spear just falls to the ground, so he's gonna have moved over here to get the right angle. It's gonna be down there below. I guess last of his movement, he's just gonna move over and grab the spear, so he's below you. All right, what are you doing, Phoebe? It is now your turn, unless anybody else is wanting to do anything in between those things.
I'd like to roll for.
You're fine. It's
Yeah,
not
I'm out of the
real.
fight anyway. I am down.
You're,
As
and
per
I'm
limit.
gonna say too. You're conscious. You're just your head's kind of ringing.
Yeah, I crawl over to the stairs and kind of just prop myself up next.
Healing
Get
myself
out of the
feels
way.
unfair in this fight, so I'm not gonna. So I have used all my key points, so I'm just gonna do 3 attacks.
Nice.
Okay.
This is all at range still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's really good up close. Okay, so that is 21.
Hits.
11 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
The next one is a dirty 20.
Also hits.
10 points of radiant damage. And then the third one is only a 16, which I don't believe hits.
That misses.
Okay.
The 2 strikes, he tries to dance around, and they each both like shear down the side of his body, just barely missing full impact, but you can still see the singe down the side of his armor and tunic, as each one is just like, bsh, bsh. And then the last one he manages to dodge completely out of the way. There's these little like mini blackened marks on the deck of this ship where all of these
So
like
chunky.
fire bolts just go into the ground. He brings the staff around, brandishes it, and gets ready again, and then calls out to you. So you wanted to fight? Are you going to come down and fight, or are you going to just fly around like a little bird?
Okay. And I'm gonna slam down 2-handed with my quarterstaff.
Okay.
17.
17 misses.
Okay.
And he's going to use his reaction now that you got within 5 feet to hit you
Yeah.
with a spear. That is a 21.
Yep. Is it more than
Fuck.
4 damage?
It's 9.
Yep.
You come down with the blade towards him, and he doesn't
quarterstaff.
move. The quarterstaff. You come down with the quarterstaff. I'm still in sword mode. I'm sorry. You come down with the quarterstaff, and then he doesn't move, and you keep thinking you're gonna smack him like directly dead center, falling from the sky. And at the very last moment, he kind of just sidesteps, brings it down, and then whacks you across the shoulders with the wooden side of the staff, making you like fall on completely onto your stomach on the ground, where he just keeps the staff butt end down, not pressing hard, but just like right in the middle of your back, just like and then almost like lifts his leg up like he's going to put a foot on your back, and then looks up at the Misto, smiles, and then takes his foot away from actually pressing on you.
Even though like we're knocked out, can I, for flavor, with like no damage?
Yeah, you're not.
As he like moves his foot, like flip over and kind of like sweep out, just to like knock his ankles real quick.
You could try.
Okay.
Do you have a reaction left?
No. It's just gonna be a flavor thing.
You could try. We'll say if you try, he's gonna take a step back, like you
Okay.
just dance out of the way, almost hops, play jump rope with your hand, your arm as you like try and swing one last crazy swing. He goes, Here, you fought well, and
It
brings
was
a
a good
hand out
fight.
to where he reaches out and clasps arms as he pulls you up. Xanthus spits out some blood, moves over to Cypress, and offers a hand to pull him up as well.
Takes it.
Not too bad. Better than I expected from a scholarly type.
Did you think we were scholars?
Most Thebans.
Oh.
He just kind of
Oh.
smirks.
Oh. It was a good fight. And he somewhat sheepishly, with his eyes downcast, but still like very much forcing that like kind of thin smile of
If it-
at least like giving up some of the pride. Just
You hear the rest of the crew had gathered to watch like erupting cheers and claps as they appreciate the quickness and skill that this whole fight demonstrated. What were you gonna say, Astrid?
She's going to look at the Misto walking down from where she's at.
Mhm.
And just give like a nod as she does.
Yeah, I should get in there and then to them.
She's going to walk over to Davos and Xanthus with both of their hands clasped in hers. And then she's going to raise them up and say, Iniquites, which means the winners.
Nice.
As Astrid is causing this celebration, Themisto is going to be ready with her basket of religious tools and start tending to the wounds of the defeated first with garlic and mustard seed and licorice root and like that sort of stuff. And it's really gnarly,
Yum!
but you're gonna start to feel better.
Garlic
Phoebe,
licorice.
Phoebe will whisper to Themisto, "No, you can take care of me last.
Mr. Well,
It is late after all."
well, give her a little gentle brush so as not to bruise her, but or to hurt the bruises further, but to acknowledge that, and go to Cypress and be like, drink this. It's not going to taste good, but it'll touch you right now.
it is a bitter cup already.
So, we're gonna consider the Mister's very medicinal use of this time as a prayer of healing, and go ahead and do 2d8 healing to everybody who was involved in the fight.
Nice.
+3.
It was a good fight.
Yeah, Cypress inches his way over to Phoebe during the general hubbub of the next couple minutes, and smiles at her, and just kind of a side hug of the like heads close together, and says,
No, don't. Not right
"Son
there.
of a bitch."
That's 21 points of healing for everybody. And I imagine that some of the points of healing for Davos and Xantus come from Astrid celebrating them.
Cypress also will step forward to Davos and Xantis, either in tandem or in separate order, wherever they're celebrating, however they're standing,
Mhm.
and again do a more, this time less stiff bow of acknowledgement. A very well fought fight. It was. I'm glad it was you who beat me. And he also, if they do they take his hand at all?
Sure.
'Cause he will
If you
extend it.
offer it,
Yeah.
if you offer it, they will. If you don't, they're not going to press.
Each at each handshake, he will heal 5 points for lay on hands.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Davos and Xanthus share a look, and then Davos looks over at you. Indeed. Even I don't think that at any point I've ever been able to claim that I have fought with demigods. But now I can add that to a list of things that I have accomplished in short order. You
Indeed.
do not fight in the traditional senses, as he looks over at Phoebe. But I can appreciate you using what you are able to do to achieve your goals. There's much I could learn from you. And
It's nice to be able to stretch those muscles not in a dire situation.
well, if Our Lady wills it, me and Xanthus can both do what we can to help you prepare for situations where things are most dire. We are about to enter a land where we are trained for war from the days before we can walk. It is not the place where you wish to be caught unaware or unprepared.
Yes, Davos and Xanthus, your soldiering skills will be useful to us. Perhaps a combination of our powers and your training will serve us all well.
Would be inaccurate and prideful to, after such a display, deny that I would benefit from such teaching.
Xanthus is the one who replies, I knew you would come around to it eventually.
Do you know me so well?
Davos is the one who answers this one. We are beginning to. If you'll excuse us, we have to clean ourselves up a bit. They both look to Themisto and bow. Mistress?
Themisto will give a little polite bow back as to excuse them.
And they go and collect shields and spears. I'm leaving you guys on the deck of the ship for the time being.
Astrid, thank you for helping everyone. I really enjoyed this moment.
It was fun. Even with the damage.
Ah,
But nothing that the ship has taken before, so
Sorry about that,
Laertes
Astrid.
showed me something. I can do a job as good as Hephaestus, but perhaps I can help with that. It was my guards, after all, who did this.
It was a good show of their strength and resilience.
And what is more Hellenic than the spirit of competition, huh?
Eh.
Everyone fought very well today.
You two went up well against two seasoned Spartans.
Cypress,
Thank
how are
you.
you feeling about it?
It stings a bit more than the injuries for a few reasons. Again, it is good that we had such a competition. I'm not rueful of it, but
You fought well.
I had hoped. Thank you. So did you.
And
I didn't
think you
really get to
probably-
see much of the end.
I think you
I was-
probably earned
My
that
eyes were
respect.
bruised.
I got hit in the head quite a few times.
Well, those two have seen war. They know how to fight, how to stay alive. We're still going up against ourselves, enemies that they may have, have been used to fighting. So I think you both did great, given our circumstances.
Thank you, Astrid.
And I'm sure you've learned a couple things as well.
I just kind of have that like looking up into the air, trying to think of a thing he's learned.
And Laertes, I want to say thank you to you too. I would not want one of the boys to be left in the again.
Oh, there's a part of me that wanted to see if he could keep pace with the ship. I had a bet with one of the other crewmates, but I decided that wasn't really worth everyone's time.
You know he would have tried.
I think he could have succeeded. But I think it was a good moment for all of us to learn from that a few powers in the last 2 weeks doesn't overcome a lifetime of training
Right.
easily. And they've been fighting alongside each other for years.
Hmm.
We've only just met, really.
This is true. As close as we have become, we must interlink that much more.
It has just been 11 days by my count.
It does.
Feels
Maybe they
longer.
It does feel longer, doesn't it? We'll have to come up with strategies in fighting, so we are boosting each other's special abilities.
I did
And
think
thus-
of what I had learned from that combat, though of course it has been drilled into me many times.
Mm.
Don't get outnumbered. Happens.
It's the 5 Orphics now dedicating themselves to become more closely linked in their abilities. Invent the Olympic rings.
Yo, that's not a bad origin story.
That's pretty sick.
That's the way you guys would take it. Laertes would turn it into a dissertation on the action economy and why it's so important.
So I wrote this white scroll.
Math equations.
I'm
are not
covered
an
in
Olympic
blood,
sport.
so that's red.
We call this the FAFO coefficient.
Nice. Well, you are sailing through the night at the moment, so the firework display of your battle is now gone. And I will say that that's probably part of the reason that it was so flashy to begin with, is like you guys are fighting at night by lantern light alone and starlight and moonlight, so it was
And solar wings.
and solar wings. So
Oh my god, it's a Sailor Moon song, Fighting Spartans by Moonlight.
no.
Oh, I've never been happier.
Being
Fine.
in love by daylight.
Dang. All right, well, there's that, I guess.
Get your ass beat in a real fight.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right.
The campaign can end here and now, and I will have felt complete by this one moment.
Beautiful. All right.
They invented the Olympic rings.
Okay. As you see Xanthus and Davos gather their things and go to the opposite side of the ship as they are talking amongst themselves, what are the rest of you guys doing?
I think Phoebe is going to go below deck to go to sleep and have her wounds tended to.
Yes.
Oh, bye.
Well, at least it's not a very private ship, so
Hmm.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of blue mat for them to lean up against. Before
them some-
Themisto disappears under deck, Laertes would like to take her aside for a moment.
of course.
I don't suppose you have the ability to send another missive to Ares or Hecate, do you?
I could do this. Yes.
I thought there might be a name and a lead that possibly they could follow. If there are indeed other people like us all over the world, maybe there's one or two closer to Athens that could look into something.
Sure. What did you learn of Athens?
The antiques dealer, we'll say kindly, Lukos, Onotor's father.
Hmm.
He's based in Athens. And I can't quite put all the pieces together in my head, and there's room for simple coincidence. But I'd be curious to know how much of the struggle with the Ebony Blade and the timing of all this old kingdom happenstances are an uncomfortable overlap for me. And since we're not going in that direction, I thought they should at least know about it.
Yes, I can attempt to say something to them. Both have expressed that now that I have made contact, my prayers do not need to be quite so grand. So we'll see what I can do.
Of
Do you
course.
think that there are, in fact, more of us closer to Athens?
I have no proof one way or the other, but it would be irresponsible not to pass such knowledge along in case there is.
It is truly something the rate at which all of these discoveries come to us. Only 11 days ago, I was quite unique in the world. So,
There's something comforting to know that we're all slightly less unique. That there is someone or someone's out there with at least some of the same experience.
Yes. Each of our rivers winds in its own way and flows at its own rate. But yes, we are all still water, huh? So
Hmm.
it is nice to think.
Hmm. It's funny, I used a similar metaphor with Phoebe earlier today.
Did you? Well, the natural world is, of course, a great source of inspiration for me.
In many ways, same for me.
You know, when we first met in Ilum, before we knew that we were going to go on all of this, while I was there, I had hoped to attend the symposium and maybe learn a thing or two from one of your talks.
Oh. Is there any... I was about to ask what topic, but it almost feels quaint now, looking back at it.
Oh, well, funny enough, I know through my time with there in the temple that there was much seeking into the stories of the old kingdom there. I had wanted to gain some perspective from outside the temple.
I think even the height of what I knew 11 days ago is dwarfed by what we've learned in scattered moments recently.
But still, it has been useful to you now.
More than I thought, less than I hoped.
So, to send a message.
Hmm.
This
You don't
is.
you don't need to do it right this moment, but
Well, I could, and maybe it would be best I could get your input. We are seeking the something unknown, so perhaps Hekate is best for this one.
hmm.
Okay. If you could again provide some sacred geometry. And we don't have a beach, but
See him lean back against the railing of the ship, and he sits down on the deck and using a bit of holography creates a bit of a concentric circle pattern that builds off some of the visuals of the portal that Hecate first walked them through, creating this series of sort of that Greek spiral, more jagged than perfectly circular, but sort of made out of slowly moving opposite concentric circles of light, like hard light. Crenellating between blues and purples, slightly mimicking I guess, Aaron's background.
ha, cool. Is this emissive in any way? Does it like reflect off of us?
I'm not sure I understand.
Like, does it have its own? Like, is the light contained within itself, or does it shine?
Based on the rules, it's basically just minor illusion, so I don't think it can really properly cast light in the same way.
Okay.
But I imagine it kind of oscillates a little bit based on the sound you're making, almost like a old school Winamp visualizer.
In that case, I think this time Themisto is going to concentrate on the pattern.
He would sort of take her hands to lead her in to stand in the center of it,
Perfect. Yeah,
and
this is
then
great.
sort of step away.
And then she'll take her sword facing point down and bring it up and touch it to her chin as she's standing straight up. And she's wearing the glamour weave today, so that is going to reflect this pattern and its movement as she stands there in the center and begins to chant this prayer, this sending to Hecate. And she will say, Hecate, Lady of Mystery, Lukos, father of Onator, deals in Old Kingdom artifacts with the dark sword of the Tritons in Athens. Please send seekers.
There is this moment where once you send this message, it is becoming more familiar now, the sensation of connection whenever you are reaching out to another mind. Still somewhat foreign, but at least now you recognize the sensation of your mind speaking to another. There is a slight tremor of surprise. And then the response comes clear within the sounds of your mind. Message received. Will be addressed promptly. You have learned much. Continue learning. Good luck on the hunt. And there is this like slight giddiness and excitement to having like just had this interaction back and forth, and you realize that you have just spoken to the gods on your own, you know, with assistance, but like in a way that you could not have possibly fathomed days ago.
Yeah, twice to two different gods in a
Yeah.
single day. Themisto
Gonna have to
will
adjust your frequent callers list or something.
Yes, I need to adjust my cell sword plan. I think this
Beautiful.
I'm going to run up a large bill of drachmae at this rate.
You had to call after 9 p.m.
It's okay. It's late. It's late. It doesn't count.
The mister always calls the gods collect. No, so yeah, she'll lower the sword back to her normal posture, and Laertes could probably see that she actually is like a little bit like you could tell that she got through because she's a little bouncy, and
The illusion will fade out as she sort of
and her
lowers out.
her glamour weave will shift back to the way it had been. So shift. It's not a shift, but I guess it could be.
Yeah.
So yes, I made it through. She is going to do something about it.
He's looking more at her expression rather than the processing the message. It's
She was proud of me as I am of myself. In fact,
as you should be.
at the grove, I heard my mother's voice at the end of my prayer, and she said something similar.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It has been a good day. It will be nice to see her again at some point.
Whereabouts would she be?
She's in Delphi. Not far. With my father. They never left the town after I was born. We did stay close.
Perhaps we can find a way to veer towards Delphi.
I would like that very much. And as we have learned some things about Mount Parnassus, maybe it will be of use to us too. Not to mention, I have questions for the Pedia. And it would be nice to let my parents to meet Phoebe. Well, all of you, but you know.
He turns back and leans against the railing again and just trying not to smirk a little bit at the primary mention of Phoebe in that cluster. And just that seems to be progressing well.
I think so. If you would have told me of all the amazing things that we have done and seen, and that the girl who was my hero a decade ago would become my love. Now, with all of this, even someone as faithful as I would not have believed it.
You would think as an oracle you would have seen that coming.
And this is why I am still in training.
How does being Pythia work with relationships?
The mister's body posture gets a little more sullen. It is not agreeable. Oh, yeah. I have talked about it, she and I. But if I were to become Pythia, it is against tradition to have a love.
Who started that tradition?
It is in honor of the hermitage of Apollo. After he slew Python, he retreated into hiding from the world for many years. The Vithia is needed among the people, so we cannot retreat from the world, but we must honor this that he did regardless.
Hmm.
Some say there is also a practical reason. They do not want someone to hold so much influence over the Vithia, or if the Vityaslav should become taken prisoner by some hegemon, they could get us to say anything
Hmm.
and thus shape the world that we know.
There is a certain logic to maintain that office.
Hmm.
But I would consider the notion that the gods, I think we've been learning more and more, are just richly empowered people that had more time to experiment and grow that power. But ultimately, they're like us, fallible.
Yes.
Sometimes institutions don't always make the best choices.
Such as it is the story of Apollo and Python.
Hmm.
As I said, Gaia showed me a vision of the aftermath. And I know from speaking to Apollo before he was lost that it was something that pained him. In this tradition that we have, I don't know its heart. But perhaps in this pursuit of truth that we are on, I should ask.
Well, and if all the stories are to be believed, that potentially we could have such extended lives, you wouldn't want to spend it alone.
No, I would not. I was prepared to. Um, it is interesting how quickly that feeling can become different, how the waters can become cloudy.
Much of the world is entirely academic until we decide to walk through it.
Hmm.
Either way,
Thank you, Laertes.
thank you.
Nice. I, by the way, how has your gift treated you? Not abilities, but she's gonna kind of signal towards the wax tablet if you have it available.
I'd say still probably wearing the sort of like messenger bag satchel thing.
Okay.
He shifts it around to uh, unlatch it and takes out the small. Actually, I'm not really sure how big these things are supposed to be, if I'm
I can
honest.
show you a reference
Because the
image because I've got like a still of a
but what
guy
is that in
holding it.
bananas? Like I need scale.
But
How
I
big is
mean,
it compared to this? This
Yeah, I
is
was about to
not
say,
it,
like,
but
is it something like that?
it's like a thin book basically. So
Okay.
like general average like book height. but just a little more squished in
Oh, actually,
on
hold on.
the vertical height.
Considering you told me what the coloration is,
Yes. Hey, excellent. Yeah.
um, it'll. I don't really write in these much anymore since it's hard to contain that much math on a bit of wax, but I have found a different use for it. And when he opens it up, you see. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron. There were 5 crystals. It was the 4 sort of like D20 looking ones, and then like a sort of elongated one that's like a journal, right? That's
Yeah, because it was two on
Okay.
if I remember correctly, it was 2 on each side and then the one in the center.
Mm. 'Cause that was the sort of United Federation of Planets logo looking kind of thing that you'd done, right?
Kind of.
Um, and do you see that there's been that same pattern sort of etched into the wax to like on a smaller scale, but trying to give them a sense of not holy reverence, but just an understanding of where they came from.
Sylvester will give a little laugh and say, "Such a store of knowledge. Uh, would were this wax alive and if this would able to know what it contained, I think it would be honored."
I've been slowly parsing through it, and he slowly closes it to begin to. He doesn't quite put it away yet. He's never seemed religious, but he almost seems like there is just a little hint of reverence to it. And they wanted this found so that those that came after might learn something. How to pick up where they left off, how to try and understand what happened. I can't help but resonate with it a little.
I think it is good that if it fell into anyone's hands, it is yours.
I hope you're right.
At least we have a chance to understand anyway. And now, I should probably go tend to some bruises.
Let me keep you.
And the Mister's gonna go below deck.
Okay. um. Yeah, I know.
Not messages.
Oh, look at Lou, a little baby.
Yes.
A puppy again.
Yeah, he wishes. All right. Anything else you guys are gonna do before the end of the night, or before the night begins? I'm assuming you guys are
Lean
sleepy.
armor, do stretches. Make
Okay.
sure I didn't damage my sword.
No. Being that you have been up all day, Astrid, are you gonna have one of the other crew navigate?
I'll
them
have either
give them the course.
Nico or Eric's takes over.
You say who?
Probably Nico, because Eric's has been up with me.
Okay.
Eric's might be busy.
I mean, most everybody has been up. That's part of the dangers of traveling all night. Is most everybody was up during the day, but you can find Nico or one of the
Yeah, I'll do
younger,
Nico.
sturdier sailors. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll have Nico do it because
Nico?
he's been a captain before. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Cypress goes. You're sleeping downstairs or on deck?
Downstairs.
I'm assuming Larities as well. And Astrid.
She's gonna go down as well.
Okay.
Just like
Perfect. Cypress. Before we jump over to break real quick. Oh, let me switch this because now everybody's downstairs.
Oh
It's-
no.
Oh, stop. You act like I'm gonna do something terrible or something to you.
Just a thing.
Now that we've used spells and
Oh, let me change this too. As you are cleaning your sword and such, getting settled in for the night, you see the Xanthus and Davos go over to check on Themisto. And as they quickly turn around and head back up to the top of the deck, Xanthus continues up to the top deck, and Davos stops as he sees what you are doing. Looks up, as his brother continues on, looks down at you, and kind of crouches down to where you're at.
Evening.
How long has it been?
Since what?
Since you saw the person whose name you keep calling every night?
I apologize if I've disturbed your sleep.
No.
Then-
Most would not have heard it. Most.
41 days.
There is
Soon to be 42.
there is the immediate reaction of eyebrows going up, like wasn't expecting you to have an actual number. So it is still fresh then.
I don't imagine it will be dull. I don't think I would want it to be.
You will. Eventually.
Do you speak from experience?
He just nods. My torture is probably, and I do not say this in means of bragging, but it is probably worse than yours. And we need not go into it now. But I wanted you to understand that you are seen and understood. And I know that I might, to your culture standards, treat you harshly, but I come from a much harsher environment. And I know that not everything that I have said or done has been met with the reaction that I have been expecting. And I apologize. I understand that you come from different circumstances and do not know my ways, just as, well, I have an idea of yours. We are trained to. But
How long has it been for you?
he doesn't say anything and just stands up instead. We will speak more eventually. I have my own wounds to tend to. And I feel that opening up new ones might be unwise. Kind of tries to smile that fades away.
Cypress gets to his feet. I owe you an apology as well, then. I am very self-absorbed. And I am moved to be seen when I was blind to you as well.
I was not expecting you to see me. You are human after all. It is not your fault.
Is it in a hobgoblin's nature to not feel?
Discouraged, perhaps. It is Spartan way to detach emotion from things.
Thebes is quite different then. And your upbringing clearly taught you many things that I was not taught about you.
There are many things that I know of many cultures. It is not in the nature of most others to study your neighbors as intensely, but Spartans, we prepare for the worst and expect the worst out of everyone, and so are prepared for most everything, or at least try to. If I couldn't name the line of queens for at least 10 generations, I was beaten. There are many things that we know. And as I said, it is not your fault. But I will do what I can to help you and your companions. Though I may not show it in front of Xanthus. I do care. He puts a hand on your shoulder. For all of you. And then steps past and goes upstairs.
There was a part of me that considered you an enemy.
He stops at the doorway of the stairs leading up. And turns
And I
back
am
over.
sorry.
Turns his back over his shoulder. Don't be.
I no longer feel that way. And I shall strive to do better.
Sometimes it is best to keep your guard up. And he walks up the stairs. And you all settle in eventually, for some rest. All of you feel that sleep comes easily. A tiring day. And unbeknownst to you all have a similar dream. A soothing voice that echoes through your subconscious. It seems to sing and dance around your consciousness. The dreams that you have, though particular to each one, have a similar harmony. And it just grows and grows and grows. Before suddenly there is a jolting smash. And the ship runs aground. And you are woken with a start as you have tumbled off bed, hammock, and lover. As light is streaming through the cracks of the ship. You awake with a start, Astrid, as you can hear the splashing of water on rock and feel the ship tilted over onto the side. And you rush to the top of the deck. And you're muted.
She's gonna yell out all hands. On deck.
And that is where we're going to go on break.
Ah!
Shit.
Poor ship.
No.
My ship again! My baby.
Aaron, do we get a long rest before we're woken up by the ship crash?
You take a long rest, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Shoot.
Why did that response sound like a question?
I don't know. Curious. But we'll be right back after these messages.
be done very, very quickly.
There is a if anybody had not already been awakened by the crashing of by the grounding of the ship against rock and pebble,
At least some land.
having jerked off of from comfortable sleep and onto side and painful whacking against the insides of the ship. The shout of Astrid, all hands, alerts the rest. But everyone finds themselves, it's like whenever you awaken from a deep sleep, there is for most, a grogginess to your waking, a heavy lids, clouded mind. Everything seems slowed. Even Astrid, that moment, the adrenaline spike that spiked you up and into an awakening thing, the moment you start to really become conscious, it starts to really hit you again, where you're just like having to like squint and refocus as the world kind of shifts and bends till it becomes right again, and you at an awkward angle start to run along the center of the ship and towards the stairs. Up the stairs you go, and onto the deck of the ship. The brightness of the sun kind of, from the darkness that you had been in, the brightness of the sun kind of catches you as you like have to squint and adjust, looking out and about.
Looking for Nicomedes.
The deck of the ship shows no signs of blood, no signs of a struggle, no signs of damage. It looks just as it had done the day before, but there is no one. You rush around to the back,
Where's the
to the helm of the ship in the back. And here is where you see Davos and Xanthus lying face down in pools of blood.
Check their pulses. Davos's pulse first.
Make a medicine check for me.
Okay. I'll turn him. No, I'll leave him. Okay, I'm gonna check his pulse. No. Shit. That's a 10.
You turn. Do you like shuffle them at all, or move them?
She's going to turn them around, like so their backs are on the ground rather than face down.
Face down. The blood has already started to like roll off to the side now that it's been. Well, actually, it's not really moving because it's been a little bit.
Ah,
But
no,
as
any
they
pulses?
as they turn over, you hear Davos groan.
Instant cure wounds on him.
Xanthus squints as his face is now facing the sun.
Cure wounds.
The signs of battle here are everywhere. A broken spear, a sword lodged into the railing of the ship, and very numerous scratch marks, claw marks around railing and deck. In fact, make an investigation check.
She's gonna yell out to the rest of the party, starting with the Misto.
The Misto will be roused. Well, I guess. What is this, how does this sleep effect feel? Is it something that I'm able to
It's
look through?
yeah, it's just as I described it for Astrid. It's just like a super groggy feeling, like you were in the deepest sleep and then suddenly jarred awake.
22
Okay.
investigation.
22? Cool.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, the misto?
The mister's going to get up, and we all felt the crash and everything.
Oh yes.
Maybe they need us.
Of course.
And she's gonna run up on top of the deck.
You see the boys.
Misto, it's Davos, it's Santis. They're still breathing, but something terrible's happened here.
It's okay. She, knowing what to do, will go ahead and immediately kneel where they are lying, where Astrid's got them, and calling forth, she'll take her sword and move it above them, taking one arm on her forearm and passing it across, saying, "Okay, I don't have time, but I need you right now." And just doing a very makeshift prayer. And so I think in this case, the look of it, how usually there's like this green light with the petals or bees or something, it kind of like is a sputtery, flickery combination of that, right? Where like, is that a petal? Is that a bee? Who the heck knows? But there's some kind of like discombobulated, jolted healing magic that hovers over it, and like mists them essentially.
Nice.
And so she is also going to do a little bit of healing here.
I did 9 and 5.
Cool.
9 for Davos, and then 5 for Santis.
They don't immediately stir, but you can tell that they're starting to come to. You look around the deck of the ship, and around one of the edges there is a large, strangely bundled, wrapped up tarp that seems pinned, and you realize now that there's a broken spear shaft that's pinning part of this tarp to the deck, and the other wrapped up rope is the sword that is like chopped into it, like keeping it in place. Between rope that is bound around this tarp and the tarp itself, you see a couple of really large, we're talking like 2 foot and a half feathers that are bound up with it as well.
Feathers. What color are the feathers?
Molted. They're like a white and brown. I make a animal. No, what would this be? Survival check, I guess, for like tracks and right, that sort of thing.
Okay.
That's usually how you track animals, is survival. So I'm just going by that.
That's a 14.
Harpies. You've fought their kind before, but had not seen any in quite some time.
Capitanios, what is it?
There are harpies that attack each ship. I suppose Davos and his brother fought against them. I don't know where Nicomedes or the crewmates up here are. I'm gonna look over this ship, over like the edge, looking around the outside area.
Make a perception check. Everybody, by this point, everybody else is up on deck as well.
Definitely think Laertes would have ended up there last.
Yeah.
18.
18.
Mhm.
You look up at this rocky shoreline. There's like a forest line that's probably about 60, 70 feet from the edges of the beach that extends in both directions. There's mountains beyond. There's definitely, you have reached mainland. But you see no signs of struggle or any of the other missing crew anywhere around. It is Eric's. He goes, Astrid, come here. She's over by the wrapped bundle.
Okay, she will run over there.
You run over there. You can see she's like trying to pull the stuck cord, and she is. You go over and you grab the spear shaft and like try and yank it out of the wood to keep it. It's wrapped around a body. And as you begin to pull it off and away, you hear, to your heart's relief, Nicomedes' voice. Let me go. Let me go. They're calling to me. Let me go. Let me go. They're calling to me. And as you
Nico,
unwrap
it's
it,
me.
you see Nico scratched, not as badly as Davos and Xanthus, but there is for a moment, white covers his eyes. Like, no, where are they?
She's going to
Where are
grasp his face like this. Nico, come back to me. And cast guidance on him to help him try to get out of this. And like slap his face a bit too. Nico, they are gone.
His eyes blink, 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 and then they're normal again.
What happened here?
He looks wild.
Here, come
Wait.
sit down.
What is... You, between you and Eric, you help him up into a seated position.
I'll
What-
give him some water
what-
from my
What happened?
plenty.
What are we? What was this going? He looks over at the side of the ship and sees that it's like, listing a little bit because it's run aground. He goes, "Oh God, what happened? What are
You said that something was calling to you.
some
What are they? Were they the harpies?
harpies? What?" And then he starts to look around, and he takes in a deep breath. No. No, 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 no. Oh, I am sorry. I'm so sorry, Captain.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. We
Oh, my
could
head.
have never known. Do you remember? What was the last thing that you remember?
Malaka. I do not know. There was. It was sailing. It was quiet. These Spartan boys were telling jokes to some of the men on the other side of the ship. I could have sworn I heard singing, perhaps. I don't, after that, now, I know nothing of the in-between. Captain, I'm so sorry. We have faced these creatures before, but they've never gotten the jump on me like this. I'm so sorry, Captain.
It's not your fault, Nico. You could not have known like this. Once you're under their spell, it's not your fault. I'm just glad that most of us are safe, and we are on land.
Have you seen Echion? Who else? I'm trying to think who else was on the ship. Echion, Phalaris. Oh, my head. Perimos. Irina. None. Are they? They were on deck with the boys. Are they okay?
The only ones that we saw on deck were Xanthus and Davos, the two Spartan boys. And you.
At this point, you see, you can hear Davos and Xanthus starting to stir as Davos is starting to get up. Oh my head. He starts. It's like a moment of him getting used to where he's at, and then his eyes jerk open, and he immediately jumps up and grabs the broken shaft of his spear and starts looking around wildly. Where did they go? Where did they go? He looks at Themista, who's now on deck of the ship, and comes over to you. Mistress, are you okay?
I am fine, but you are still wounded.
There's
I
like
have not
blood.
finished.
There's blood coming down everywhere.
I have not finished binding them. Please sit.
You can hear this raggedness to his breath. And then eventually he tries to sit down.
Yeah, she'll, guide him by the shoulders, and continue wrapping his wounds.
Is there a bucket of water I could get to kind of help wash off some of that dried blood?
There's a bucket. It's not currently filled, but you could easily grab some.
Are we tilted enough where I could like?
Well, yeah, you could lower
A
it.
bit.
You could manage something, yeah.
I'll do that so there's, even if it's a false sense of being useful, Phoebe can feel a little useful.
Well,
Yeah.
and Themisto is going to be applying that honey and mustard seed paste also in these bindings as Phoebe prepares the area, so that it has those antimicrobial properties that I don't know about. It works for some reason.
Beautiful, beautiful. Go for it. What are you gonna say?
Astrid is going to grab some of the feathers that she had seen, and with intent is going to try and track or locate that which this belongs to.
So you're trying to do what?
She is going to try to track the harpy that the feathers belong to,
Oh, I see.
or to try to dig deep, because you had said that it would be within an astral's power to find things if need be. She was trying to dig into that
Yeah.
for the sake of her crewmates.
Yeah, as you and the rest of the crew have now gathered on board the ship, you're realizing that the people that he mentioned are missing. Make an Arcana check for me. Laertes, what were you gonna say?
I'll let you finish that up first.
$19.
You grab the feather, and then a second one that is brought to you, and you're like standing here in this almost like crime scene, right? In the center of all of this chaos and damage that has happened here on the back of the ship. Everything else seems to fall away from you as you focus in on this. You what?
I close my eyes and I feel the feathers, the rigidity of each like sprig in the the quill of the feather itself.
There's something that is trying to unlock within your head. You can feel yourself like stretching and expanding, and you, just as you would normally lay down and sense the world moving around you sort of situation, here you are standing upright and you begin to just barely feel that once again.
Tachyon, Gladys, Rimos, Karina.
And it's, if your senses are working, it is nowhere close by.
Blood was right. This would have happened
Yeah, I would say
hours ago.
the blood is kind of on the congealed side. It's not like fully dry yet, but it's like it had happened
Tacky.
already. Yeah, tacky.
She opens her eyes and lets the feathers go. That's all.
The wind that gusts blows them off and over the side of the ship. Eric's comes over to you and gives you a hug because she can see that you are perturbed, to say the least.
I should have stayed up. Maybe I could have prevented this.
No. She speaks to you in Aquan. You can't do this to yourself. It could very
I'm the captain of
easily,
this ship.
it could easily have been you that was be lost. And where would the rest of us be?
Alive.
We are alive now, and so are you.
We lost 4 good sailors.
Captain,
Irina. I can't stop seeing Irina's wide eyes full of life as she's always been.
Captain. She grabs your chin and makes you look at her. We're on a vessel that hunts monsters. Do you not think that we all know the risks? Each of us knows.
Fight together.
And we
I
will
know.
continue to fight together. But for now, this is what we have. Focus on those who are still here. And she looks around at the coastline. I don't know exactly where we are. We will have to try and determine that as well. Let us see if there is any damage to the ship. What are the rest of you guys doing?
How run aground is the ship? Is it basically like perpendicular? Like what's the
It's kind of listing at like a 40-degree angle or so.
not exactly unsteep, but
Definitely walking's kind of sideways. Most of the ship is out of the water.
mhm. And we're still in that kind of grogginess, or
It's starting to fade. The more that you're awake, the more it's starting to fade. It's not a consistent thing. It was just the immediate like brain activation again that was having trouble, and then now as you've continued to be more awake, the more that it is.
and out of curiosity, what would any of us know about harpies at this point in time?
Part of the dangers of the Aegean.
But any stories about magic, or is it just more like a giant predatory creature?
Predatory creature.
Okay. I
Predatory.
would say during all of this, just out of curiosity, since I imagine this is running concurrently with some of the other things, he's going to go into that trance of casting Detect Magic, trying to get a sense of. He's not entirely sure if there's any sort of residual trail of something. And I have no expectation this would work. It's just he doesn't know what else to do here.
Right.
This is not his element. And I would say he's probably distracted by the fact that he's having probably the hardest time out of anyone staying upright.
You can lean on to something.
Yeah, like he's
someone.
probably even lowered his gravity to an extent where it's still easier than it otherwise would be, but he's definitely sort of just like that kid in the deep end who just sort of like crawls along the wall
Yeah.
because they can't actually swim.
Grab Phoebe while she and I are patching up Xantus and Davos.
Don't
and
mind
Phoebe's
me.
like,
It takes Phoebe a second to be like, help Laertes, help here. Help.
Yeah,
Does
there's not, for Laertes real quick, there's not anything that is residual in this.
Mhm.
Not in a spell sense.
Mhm.
I will say make a I guess make an Arcana check to a degree. Yeah, why not?
To a degree.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where this would fall more in line, but we'll go with Arcana.
What's your
nature
alternative
check or an
thought?
Arcana check. Or,
What is what? I'm sorry.
What's your alternative thought? If not Arcana.
It's like another survival thing or history. One of those three.
I'd say he'd be locked into Arcana at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's why I was kind of going that direction.
I mean, will you tell me, like, history or Arcana is more in line with your thinking with this?
It doesn't matter. I can argue it in either or explain it in either category.
Fair enough. 26 on Arcana.
All right.
If I had said history, you would have given me actually an answer.
No. In the last 11 days. 11 days. In the last 11 days, you
This spurt of time, you would say.
Yes. You have
Got it.
become acutely familiar or are becoming familiar with the way these fragments of the plague are working and the abilities they have and the after effects that they seem to leave, a sort of physical manifestation of a fingerprint, even though there are none. Harpies, while dangerous, have no concrete origin. Stories of where they come from vary from place to place. These part human, chimeric mutant sort of creatures have been in existence since the fall. No stories ever existed of them before that. Now, with your knowledge of history, the true history, there is a little bit that makes you question, wonder, and theorize that these monstrosities are after effects from the fall, from this fragment of the plague as it ran rampant through an ancient world, and the beasts that and malformed creatures that it released and created. Something about what they left behind, whether it's the scratch marks, it's not like the feathers are inky or they have any sort of like sign that they are related, but it you kind of can't help but try and connect dots here, that it would stand to reason that these somehow are all tied. These chimeric monsters that have existed since the fall, that humanity, that civilization has been struggling to find. The whole job that Astrid has had of hunting these monsters, and there are others like her that hunt these monsters, seem to all just kind of have this relation, and you're starting to now see the world through a different lens. Because now you're starting to see it's not just the fragments that have that are part of this, a symptom of this. You have seen and heard multiple monsters across the Aegean and beyond that exist, and you kind of can't help but wonder if we have all been living under this plague for a lot longer than the last few days. And if by some random chance the awakening of this fragment is somehow related to this. Because Astrid had talked about before, they hadn't really been, and I would say even if you hadn't like directly said it over the last 11 days, I'm sure you had a lot more conversations than here, but how monsters are not popping up as much anymore. And now suddenly you've had mentions of this kraken-like beast that the fishmen had talked of. You have these harpy creatures. You have can't help but wonder if somehow there's a relation there.
Considering that earlier in the day, when this conversation with Phoebe, he'd also put forth the idea of other things, either intentionally or merely observational bias of happening simultaneously or converging at the same time. All these Orphics sort of popping up now rather than the last 1,000 years, especially ones like Astrid and Themisto, when they're not really supposed to be a thing, apparently. It's just... is everyone on the ship, or some of them like ashore at this point?
I mean, there are some of the crewmen who have jumped over the side to try and assess any damages, but for the most...
But us.
But most, yeah, you guys are on the ship.
Okay. We might be on the right track. And I'm not...
The right track for what? Finding the creature.
I think there's a connection between the harpies and Baldura and the fragments. There were no stories of harpies from before the fall. There's other creatures like that. In comparison, they're new. And if these fragments are running around, they've either woken them up or they have sway over them. Whatever tangential connection they have.
Makes sense that Harpy's spout is something that flies and sings the song of death.
Specifically. Do we have a sense of their direction?
Perhaps if we scouted on shore, Capitanos.
That sounds good.
And this would it make enough sense for Phoebe to guess that like harpy in the stories, do harpies fly long distance, or is it kind of like they hunt locally and nest close by?
It can be either one. They tend to move sometimes from island to island, covering long distances when they're looking for new roosts. If they are close by, sometimes they'll protect such roosts, but also sometimes they just flock and migrate. So they just kind of move around.
Looking at the island that we're on now, or the place we're in now, does it seem like mainland or more island?
Mainland.
Okay.
Oh, is it daylight?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like
Morning or
we're talking like mid to late morning at this point.
okay.
You said that I've sort of started to key into some of that plague. I don't know, wake. Do I get a sense of that in like the directional?
Not really. It's just
okay.
it's more of keen into all of the other stuff.
Okay, just the pattern coming together.
And there's this just that similar vibe of this oily slickness to the whole event. And not maybe not in a super tangible way. It's just how it makes you feel on the inside when you're doing this like detect magic thing. It's almost like you can just feel that the after aura of a presence kind of thing, and it just leaves this like tainted feeling to the air and the space around you.
I don't know if you've ever seen animated close-ups of just what air looks like at a almost an atomic level, but it almost looks like a gel, but not really. But when something kind of moves through it, like you don't see it, but it kind of pushes along it. It's almost like that sort of spider web kind of thing where just everything shifts to accommodate. It's just a little bit of this turbulence. And I imagine it feels a little like that. There's a certain pattern to it.
What were you going to say earlier, Cypress?
I think we've moved beyond this, but if it looks possible, Cypress would at least bring up to Astrid the possibility of like pushing the ship into a more comfortable resting position, like somewhat pushing it back out to sea, rather than just having it be gently wrecked on the shore.
Well, to that line of thinking, as you are going over to the side of the ship, you're looking up at the ship. Under normal circumstances, with the rocks that are around, your ship would have already taken on plenty of water from the jagged rocks that present themselves along the shoreline. Instead, you see that this ship seems pretty much unharmed. There's like, it's almost like paint scratch marks kind of thing. It's just like these like rubbings along the front of the ship where like moss and algae had just smeared themselves between rock and bow, but the ship has not taken any damage. And you see some of the you see you hear from several of the soldiers mutterings of the same just now. I'm just like, must have been the work of Hephaestus.
It's a strong vessel,
Strong blood.
but we should try and set it right. I don't know what lying like this for a prolonged period can do to a boat. Maybe it would be fine, but certainly if we were trying to leave with any due haste.
It would take some work if, with all the crew present, a good hour or two before you're able to like push and shove and kind of get it set back into the water at least a little bit if you're so inclined.
Thoughts, Captain?
This ship is meant to stay inland, or to to dock on land, if need be. So it should be okay on the sands.
Very
I
well.
say we just bring it up to the point in the sands and assess any damage. We can head out and see what this place holds for us.
Should we plan a scouting party? Obviously, the usual group of us, but to specifically check for in case the harpies return.
Looking at the landmass itself, what do we see? Are there any like tall peaks or anything
Right,
around,
somewhere
or
where
forest,
Harpy would go.
plains land?
This is more,
Mountains.
like I said, there's like 60, 70 feet from the edges, from the beach shoreline, there's forest. Beyond that, what looks like probably another maybe 5-10 miles begins a mountainous area. There's a distance to it. And the wooded forest line seems to extend both north and south on this beach line for into the horizon.
These craggy rocks don't turn into any like pinnacles anywhere nearby.
Not really. They look like they're kind of run the length along the side of the coast, but don't really come out towards the water.
I
Okay.
can shoot up into the sky again very quickly if we need to.
I want to assess my map of this place and see if, like, with maybe topography, would we be positioned in a place where we should continue to sail, or should we stay here? Knowing the shoreline of
Sparta.
of this side of Sparta, yeah, like, would it make sense? Or would this be like the geography of where I think Sparta is at?
Yeah, it does seem like Spartan mainland. That much does seem certain. Where along the Spartan mainland, you're not sure. Detailed maps of that level don't really exist as of yet, but there are mountain ranges that go along the eastern shores of Sparta, so you know that you're probably there somewhere.
Okay.
The best bet would be there are cities that are along the coast, either north or south, and it would just be
Identifying
picking
it that way.
picking a direction and traveling along if you wanted to. And obviously the ship is not damaged, so you can push it back to the ocean and try sailing some more. Or if you want to try looking around the immediate vicinity, what's really up to you.
I'll get together with the group and give those options. I think that sailing until we find the city and staying there would be best.
I could ask the gods if we need. And Themisto's gonna take her sword and kind of flip it towards herself and do like the little like poke
Mhm.
to like indicate, like when I asked for guidance when we were sailing.
That would work. I think guidance from the gods would be best right now.
If we all agree, I will do that then. So Themisto is going to kneel on both knees and take the sword with the blade facing her flat horizontally, with it in one hand, so that she's grasping the blade, and then the hilt as well. Then looking up in the sky and then back down at the blade, she will say, "Oh, Apollo, there is a choice before us. Do we sail now to safety, or shall we find our friends? Right now, we think that sailing is the best way. And so I'm going to cast Augury. Please, as the sun lights the surface of this earth, guide us in the direction that is best. Of course, so it can do wheel or woe both or nothing.
And you just get back a
so,
shrugging Apollo emoji.
and then the way that Themisto's works, right, is that sensor ball on the chain hanging down is gonna go back and forth horizontally in front of her, right, like this for bad result, for like no, don't, and for yes, do, it goes this way and that way. Or maybe the gods will show themselves in a different way. Or if it's inconclusive, it just like spins around in a circle.
Nice. And so you're saying that you're thinking of sailing is the best, right?
Yes, because for this to work, I have to indicate, like, I
Indicate
can't
a
say,
thing,
hey,
yeah,
which
yeah.
should we do? I have to be
Right.
like, this is the one we're doing. Is it good or not?
It's gonna go back and forth
Okay.
and then shift to towards and back. But it's not gonna circle. It is just
Okay.
gonna go back and forth.
This is interesting.
I will say, because fuck it, it does seem good results. The wheel becomes more frequent than the woe.
Okay. Yeah. So interpreting this. At first it stayed my blade. But afterwards it said the strike was granted. It's just. So it is an odd thing. We could set sail now, Or perhaps there is a little bit more yet here to do before we go. I do not know if my interpretation is correct, but this is how I read it.
Then we stay first, like your blade. And after some time, we leave. I think you're right. There
And
is
go ahead, Astrid.
there is possibly some more we can find in the surrounding island, the surrounding land.
Perhaps before we do anything, we should at least try and figure out where we are.
This did not linger long, so whatever it is, I doubt it should take much time. That could change all of the outcomes, and then this is useless.
I have a thought, at least where to start on that. Captain, do you have a map handy?
I did.
Where were we?
The
Where
last
were we when we went to sleep versus where we were heading?
we were heading west, somewhere in the middle of the ocean, heading towards the Spartan lands. And now we are likely somewhere on the eastern side of the Spartan mainland.
Out of character, is this the physical, like, parchment map, or is this the star charty kind of thing?
Physical map.
Physical map, okay. He's going to point at it's roughly around here, you think, yes?
Mhm.
I would hesitate to say that they're not entirely detailed, right? They're not going to have like topography and all this kind of stuff.
It just kind of has like the little
Rough
triangles
outline.
for mountains range here, that sort of thing.
Okay. But again, I even hesitate to say that the actual shoreline is going to be all 100% accurate.
Right.
Right.
But using that as a basis, and then turning to face the shore, do I get a sense of like any peaks or a sense of the shoreline?
Not really, because right here it's pretty straight.
Okay.
I put this somewhere between Brasier and Cape Balears,
Okay.
the peninsula.
Again, if we need a bird's eye view, I can go up.
Sorry, which one did you say? It's
Between Brasier and the peninsula, Cape Balears.
Okay.
I hope that we're not on that island, but it seems we are on the mainland.
If you'd like to get a bird's eye view.
Go ahead,
I'll-
Phoebe.
I'll go up.
Before she goes, would you like to be able to go just a little bit faster?
Of course.
And he'll just gently touch her shoulder to give more like a reassuring squeeze. And he also uses that as an excuse to kind of help himself sit down as he transfers his usually maintained adjusted density on himself to her. So she'll get an additional 10 feet of movement on all of her actions. She will have disadvantage on strength.
Okay.
Astrid's going to put a shoulder on Phoebe and say Godspeed, and you get guidance, so a d4 to whatever skill check you make. For a minute.
Your wings burst forth in that like fiery solar flare kind of spindle that comes out from your shoulders. I'm gonna say that as you are about to, as that is happening at the Mista, you can see that behind Phoebe, there's a little bit of a wince that comes from Davos and Xanthus as she does this, and then poof, she takes off into the air, flying higher and higher up into the sky. Phoebe, go ahead and make a words perception check,
Roll.
please. Thank you.
Make a words check.
Make a words check. Flying high
Is
up
that
into
sleight
the
of hand or
Butterfly in the
survival?
sky. I can go twice as high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus a D4.
Take a
Reading.
look. Player's handbook.
16.
Okay.
Make a death throw.
You can see in the clear sky in both directions there's like this mistness to the air, almost like a humidity of being in the near the edges of the ocean. There's like that spray kind of goes up and down both sides. You see mountains in the distance. To the south, there is more of a blur to the horizon of land that might be a city to the south, but it's a considerable distance and kind of hard to tell for sure. But there is at least a break in the forest about 20, maybe 20, 30 miles down this straight coastline. And then whereas if you look north, it just kind of continues on and kind of moves and zigzags up the north towards the north. So to the south, you see something about 30 miles out. Hard to tell what it is, but there's something over there.
I'll head back down and describe that to everyone, but specifically to Astrid, in hopes that she can match it to something on the map.
Okay. Looking around at the map, I mean, it's hard to say. There's any number of cities that are there on the coastline, but knowing that there is something that looks like it's 30 miles south, that's better than not knowing either direction.
So if we wanted to definitely find out where we are, we could head south.
Okay. Let's explore a little bit of this place here, in case we find something. Then, afternoon, we'll head out again. Does that sound good to everyone?
And now we have a destination, so I think that suits us.
But with the city so close, even though it will take us time to get there, I don't know if the Harpies would. Then again, they could be close enough to pick off people as they sail in and out.
Lertis, I have a math question for you. If my ship is going at a certain speed in this one direction for so long, and we have been asleep for about 8 hours, how long would it have taken for the ship to have hit the land?
And if there's another ship leaving from that destination going at this speed, at that point will they hit each other?
And judging from the position of Apollo's chariot,
Also consider the air pressure and direction that it is going. What do you think?
Is this a real question or
I feel like Laertes could definitely answer it, but we don't have to go into it.
Aaron, you tell me if Laertes will work. Like, guys, I was already trying to work out some of that stuff, like where we should
Where
have
we
been
would have
versus
ended,
yeah.
If we hit spot here, and then the time it was then to where
if
we
our
are
ship
now.
goes this many stadium a minute.
Technically, math could answer this question.
Yeah.
I have
have
used it
to-
before for that. That's what I was trying to do earlier, but
No.
Hmm. And he's done harder equations in his mind, I'm sure.
yes, but probably with more information.
Yeah, true.
That's
Yeah.
it's hard to solve for X when everything is X.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It does mark the spot though.
Oh no. Um.
There's just X's all over. Nope.
Yikes. I will say you left Sedifos. You were probably a quarter of the way before you guys went to sleep.
Yep.
So that like range
Right.
is pretty wide,
Yeah.
but not judging by the position of the sun, knowing where elite, the very least where north and south is.
How quickly blood coagulates. And
I mean, this is hobgoblin blood, so it may fall under different rules.
It
Than,
hardens in
humans.
5
and the
seconds.
sun,
And yeah,
the sun, and the type of wood that absorbs the blood.
I mean, you
that
all, you
adapts.
none of you have talked to Xanthus or
CSI.
Davos
Ilum.
at all, and they were the ones who were fighting the things. So I'm just pointing that out there.
I'll go up to Davos.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that is a conversation we can have next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I will say, both of them have been, since all this has been going on, rather shaken.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to press it at first.
And there are Xanthus
Yeah,
has
this is
a
the second time this has happened to them, isn't it?
Xanthus has a very scratched face,
Hmm.
whereas Davos has deeper gashes along his arms and body, claw marks even. It's not just light scratches.
Would I have needed to take a little wad of
Probably.
extra stuff and patched up an eye?
The eye doesn't look too scratched, but the face is definitely, and neck, hands. All of these things have been pretty severely.
Okay, yeah, so there's
seen
definitely
worse.
some places where the knot is tied directly over the wound for additional pressure.
Yeah, yeah. I guess what's it called, above table. If you had to look at who got the worst of it, it looks like Davos was in the process of being snatched
Oh
because
well.
he has the deeper cuts and gashes,
Like
and
claw, like, dug
like
into him.
talons dug into him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe Xanthus was the one fighting
The thing off.
them off. But more will be revealed next
In
time
2 weeks.
on The Price is Right. I mean, no.
Age of Myth.
Age of If.
Oh wait, hold on.
What you got there, Aaron?
I got a thing.
It's a Davos and Xanthus minis. That's what he has.
Yeah.
A Davos and Xanthus miniseries.
Oh my gosh.
Spinoff.
Far.
They become like the real franchise, and everyone's surprised of where they came from.
Far, far away.
Are they the new franchise?
I love Vanch.
The
She's a fan
worst.
favorite.
We
She's an
miss her.
Iskra favorite.
Mhm.
So far, far away.
We're gonna
We love a girl
do-
that can get impaled and get back up.
True.
Tell me, What have you seen, Negush? Have you seen our brethren? Have you seen where we must go? I know what hunts us. I know how we can make them fall.
More on that at 5.
No!
Dang.
Yikes. Who? What?
Was that what happened before all this?
He'll literally just same shrug.
Atlas shrugged.
It did. And
Calm
then the
down, Ayn
world,
Rand.
Atlas shrugged and the world drowned.
We just gotta pull this ship up by its bootstraps.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Try again.
Get a drink from the fountainhead.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. We will see you not so soon, but soon. Next Friday, we have our Star Wars one-shot Twin Company 3, Keepers of the Path. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely did not get supplies for that. No, I did not. So that should be fun. And then the following week, the 21st, we will be back with a continuation from here, where the Orphix landed. What the Spartan boys know. Should be fun. Should be exciting.
At some point in the
Possibly
near
fate.
future, another series.
Yep. Eventually.
Teaser trailer
Eventually.
is on Instagram.
Mhm.
It is.
Should be fun. All right. Well, on that note, stay fey, be brave, safe words, mango, bunny spread, gaze of our lives. I don't know. May the force be with you. All of those
Very
things.
nice.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
28 gays later.
Oh no.